Here's the math on the tax-free savings account. We'll rank 7 TFSA mistakes by cost. Cheapest first, count how many apply to you. The cheapest is a 1% a month tax. The last one never feels like a mistake, yet in our ranking it costs the most. It is easy to think of the tax-free savings account as a simple box. Money goes in, grows without tax, comes out without tax. That is the promise in the name. But tax-free is doing a lot of quiet work in that phrase. The name covers the account itself, not everything you do with it. Ordinary moves, moving abroad, replacing a withdrawal, holding the wrong stock, ticking the wrong box on a form, or just never investing the money, can each turn that friendly box into a tax bill, or into growth you never notice is missing. None of what follows is advice on what to buy or sell. It's simply what the government's own rules say each move costs. So let's put a real figure on all 7, smallest first. The cheapest mistake applies to a narrow group, people who have become non-residents of Canada for tax purposes and keep contributing anyway. If you make a non-resident contribution to your TFSA, the CRA taxes it at 1% of that amount for every month it stays in the account. That contribution you forgot about keeps accumulating that 1%, month after month, until you take it back out. The fix is simple. If you have left Canada, or you are about to, treat new TFSA contributions as off-limits until you have confirmed your residency status. Check first, then decide. We put this one at the cheapest end because it applies to the narrowest situation. That is our ranking judgment, not a statistic. If that is not your situation, you are still at 0. Number 6 is guessing how much room you have, and trusting the wrong source to check. Here it is in the CRA's own words. The TFSA information in your CRA account is only updated once per year in the spring with your transactions of the previous year. So the number you see today can be a full year out of date. That lag is the whole trap. The figure looks official, so it is easy to treat it as a live balance and top up to it. As things stand now, the CRA says your 2025 records will be processed by April of 2026. If you top up to what that stale figure shows, and you have already used the room, you have overcontributed, and an overcontribution is taxed at that same 1% a month. The fix: keep your own running total from your own statements, and treat the CRA account as a record that lags, not a live balance. Number 5 costs the exact same rate, and I have ranked it higher for one reason I will name out loud. Say you pull money out of your TFSA this year, and put it back a few months later. It feels like your own money returning to your own account. But the amount you withdraw is only added back as contribution room on January the 1st of the next calendar year. Put it back sooner, on top of an already full account, and it is an overcontribution, taxed at 1% a month until you remove it. Why does this rank above the last one? That is my judgment, not a government ranking. A my account slip tends to get caught the next spring, while a deliberate recontribution can sit unnoticed for years, so the same 1% clock runs longer. The fix: if you are maxed out, wait until January before replacing anything you withdrew. Number 4 is holding U.S. dividend-paying stocks inside your TFSA. When a U.S. company pays a dividend into your account, the United States taxes it at the source, and under the Canada-United States tax treaty, that rate is 15%. Inside a TFSA, that 15% is simply gone. The CRA's own foreign tax credit folio says that foreign taxes paid on income earned through a TFSA are not counted for the purposes of a foreign tax credit. So there is no credit inside a TFSA to set that foreign tax against. That 15% comes off every U.S. dividend, every year, for as long as those shares sit in the account. The treaty behind that is a whole topic of its own. The fix here is awareness. Know that U.S. dividends inside a TFSA arrive already reduced by that 15%, and that the shelter does not extend to this foreign tax. If you want the mechanics explained like this, the government's own numbers on screen, and nothing invented, subscribing is the whole ask, and it tells me to keep making them. Number 3 is treating your TFSA like a trading account. It is tempting to think that because the account is tax-free, any amount of buying and selling must be tax-free too. The Income Tax Act says otherwise. If a TFSA carries on a business, and very active trading can be treated as exactly that, the Act makes tax payable by the account on that business income. The shelter does not cover it. The trading profits are taxed as business income. And it gets personal. The same Act makes the holder of the TFSA jointly and severally liable for that tax. In plain terms, the account loses its tax-free status on the trading, and you are on the hook for the bill. I am not going to hand you a number of trades that crosses the line. I could not find a government page that sets one, and I am not going to invent it. The point is that the line exists, and it is worth knowing it is there before you trade heavily inside a TFSA. Number 2 is a single word on a form that can leave your spouse with a tax bill they never had to owe. On your TFSA paperwork you can name who receives the account when you die, and for a spouse or common-law partner there are 2 very different choices. A successor holder is the survivor named as the new holder of the account, in the TFSA contract or in the will. Name your spouse that way, and the value at your death, and any income earned after it, stays sheltered from tax. Name them instead as a designated beneficiary, and any earnings the account makes after death, before the estate is settled, become taxable. Now, one important update, and it is brand new. Starting January 1st, 2026, those after-death earnings can be designated an exempt contribution, but only if the surviving spouse knows to file for it. So the mistake here is not that there is no way out. It is not knowing to ask. One word on a form, checked in a few minutes, is the whole difference for a surviving spouse. The fix: go and check which word is on your form. And number 1, the mistake I have ranked as the most expensive, is the quiet one, leaving your TFSA sitting entirely in cash, year after year, never invested. In my judgment, what makes it the easiest of the 7 to overlook is that it never arrives as a bill or a letter. There is simply nothing to flag it. So here is the math. The annual TFSA limit started at $5,000 back in 2009, and it is $7,000 for the 2026 tax year. The limit is indexed to inflation and rounded to the nearest $500. Add every year's room together, from 2009 through 2026, and someone eligible the whole time has $109,000 of room. Now an illustration, not a prediction, and here is the assumption I am using, said out loud. Suppose that same money had instead been invested and grown at 5% a year, compounded annually. Over this period, $109,000 of contributions could have grown to roughly $175,000. The gap between leaving it in cash and that illustration is roughly $66,000. I am not telling you what to buy, and 5% is my assumption, not a promise. It is simply the arithmetic of what uninvested room can quietly leave on the table, growth that, on this illustration, never happened. So count them up. Give yourself 1 point for each of the 7 that applies to you today. 0 or 1, and you are running a clean, well-understood TFSA, the mechanics are working for you. 2 or 3, and there is room to tighten up, mostly around timing and what is inside the account. 4 or more, and it is worth sitting down with the account, and probably a licensed professional, before your next contribution. And be honest with the count. The whole point of scoring yourself is that you cannot fix what you have not first noticed. Wherever you land, the point is not guilt, it is that every one of these is fixable the moment you can see it. Tell me your score in the comments, 0 to 7. I read every one. Like the video if it earned it, subscribe if you want the next one, and thanks for watching. This video is education, not financial, tax, or legal advice. Everyone's situation is different, so talk to a licensed professional before making decisions.